Hi, morning everyone. We have been talking about various things about you, me, the children, the education, the Vedanta. I want you to think about some questions which you may be having. And you generally sweep it aside and say, either it is too dumb a question to ask, so better not ask, or it is very complex. Why complex my life? Complexity should be removed. Or you might think, how is it going to help? It's just a trouble with my mind. So I would recommend that you think about a question. We'll speak for a few minutes. And based on whatever you've done till now, okay, think about what is that question, what is that thing that you think is complex or not complex, or I have understood, so that the flow of your mind, your thinking process, is known to you better and everybody else benefits from it. Is that okay? So, notice what Shraddha Ma'am talked about is the messages from the great masters which are there right in front, in the front fire. The Swami Vivekananda and Paramahansa Yogananda, both of them are saying what? Swami Vivekananda is saying, what our country needs is charging with a fresh blood, with purity, with truth, and the country will change. The change begins with you. Paramahansa Yogananda is saying, if you want to change anything in this world, which Sharda talked about, it has to begin with you. The you is you and me. It's us. So now if you look at it carefully, the complexity of the world around us, or complexity in the world when you go off to sleep. Let's say you're sleeping. You got off to sleep. You're dreaming now. And you're having a wonderful time. Let's say a great saint is visiting you. Or you're in a beautiful 5-star hotel, or maybe in Florida, on a cruise, and you're having a dance and dinner party. Good idea, no? Think. You're in dream. Your body is lying. Body is not there. Something is there with you. When you wake up, if you remember the dream, you will say, oh, it was only a dream. What was dreaming is the question. What gave you those pictures, whatever you were doing, and you said, oh, it's not real, it was only a dream. What was it? So, refer our earlier discussion, it is our mind. Our mind is the one based on the past actions, past impressions, called vritti, came up like a bubble, even in your sleep, and gave you those impressions. When you are in deep sleep, then your mind has not gone away. You have no dream. But it doesn't mean mind has gone away. Mind is still with you. But it has come into a tiny point. A very small point. It's not playing the major role. And that's how you wake up. Your mind didn't trouble you. If the mind is troubling you, you know what is a disturbed sleep. You're tossing and turning mind is bothering you, bothering you, bothering you. Now this is the dream state, deep sleep state and awakened state. These are the three states that you and I have. Awaken, sleep, deep sleep. And the fourth stage that human beings have, when you attain a great calmness of mind, where you dive down deep within and you find out the wealth which is within you and me. And this diving down deep within is what? Within what? Within the mind? That's what we think. It is not. You have to go beyond the mind. And beyond the mind is what is making you and I, let's say, having fun, joy, eating a great, say, dinner out experiences on that cruise in Florida, whatever it is, suffering, misery, happiness, joy, great companion, great learning. Learning a great skill, learning some great language or mathematics or art or something, whatever it is, all that is happening through the mind. But the mind itself has got certain impressions, yours and my mind, from the past, from the earlier learning, from the earlier experiences. But that mind by itself, it cannot work. That projector on the screen, if you see something in there, which goes to the computer or whatever, that is because that light coming, that light is throwing that impression onto the screen. Similarly, it is the light of the consciousness which is within you and me, which is throwing the light on to the human mind, and which in turn lights up. The consciousness is absolutely pure. But what is reflecting is called the reflective consciousness, and that the tiny part of the borrowed consciousness, the mind is using it. So if you're having great suffering, it is that consciousness is throwing onto that mind to make it come up. Supposing you're having a happy experience, that is also by the consciousness. So the question might come up, that means I, my mind and my consciousness, we are different from this world outside. There is so much of complexities of the world. Just imagine, we don't know almost everything we don't know, isn't it? It's like you go into a library and you see tens of thousands of books and you say, my God, so much of knowledge, I wish I could learn. Now that's only in the library. Hey, look at this world, just look outside. Do you know what is inside that leaf? Do you know what is inside that tiny, what programming is going on into that fruit to become an almond? There are almond trees. Do you know how the baby formed? Little bit of crude knowledge you have. How? Forget about that. Do you know what is happening inside of you the moment you eat your food? You know a little bit of idea. Chew and then it will get digested. What's happening? How the various hormones and things of that is from there, it's going into the heart, the lung, the muscle, the bones. You know? Every cell is getting energized. What's happening? We don't know. So, we say this whole universe is very complex. Let me be myself. And whatever little bit of chore we have to do. Now, when you're getting that message, begins with you. You're the one who have to change first. So, if you begin to get connected closer and closer to that deep silence which is beyond the mind. Your mind is the one which is creating all the trouble. Your mind is the one which also gets the happiness and joy and things like that, but momentary, temporary. And you want to hold on to it. Have you realized in a relationship, when a boy meets a girl and a girl meets a boy, you always say, soulmate. And you like to believe that we must be connected from the past lives. And you would like to believe that it should continue now. Eternal. Will you love me? Even if I die, will you continue to love me? Will you love me in my next life? You don't want it to die. Have you also noticed? Lovers don't like any secret. They want to know everything about others. Have you noticed the third thing? You always like to change the other person. Other person should be like me. Why do you want one more like you? I ask the same thing to the mothers and the father. I say, if you're a little detoured away from the topic of today morning, a baby is born. Let's say the baby is growing up in a room, let's say my office. No mommy, no daddy, no teacher. But there is food, water, milk, shelter, air. Child will grow up 6 years. Like your senior KG, first standard children. What will happen to that child? Locked up in a room. It wouldn't know anything. Because why? No data. No information. No mom, no dad, no teacher. Limited information data is there. Like the color, the food, the texture, something will, but it's like a vegetable. Vegetable also have those limited experience, no? Now imagine if the child is growing up in the jungle. So it will be like Mowgli or Tarzan. If the child is growing up in yours and my maidservant, nanny's home, so they will be like the maidservant and the nanny. No? If he is growing up in yours and my home, hey, you and I must understand they will be like you and me. Our intention in this school and our intention of today morning's topic, for ourselves and for everybody else, to be that beautiful thing which you love. What is it? No complexity, no jalebis. You want peace and happiness and smile. And you say, oh my God, this is too crooked. Don't bring it to me. The child, if he's growing up in you and me, will be just like ourselves. And look carefully. You and me are just like our parent. Shade better. You know why better? Because we have huge amount of data more than our parents have. So we are a shade better. Our children are better than their parent. Anyway, whether they come to any great school, Victoria's Kids or anywhere, they will be better. Even that Basti children who are not attending school will still be better than their parents. But our intention is to create that perfectness which is within, which is not complexity. To do that, that reflection of the mind, that from the consciousness is coming in. Consciousness is where, remember our earlier learning? Consciousness is the only thing that you and I are made of. Every one of us. This is as per Vedanta. You can not think about any experience without consciousness. You cannot think about learning anything without consciousness. You cannot think about experiencing anything without consciousness. Correct? So that consciousness is everywhere every part of this universe. So what is the journey? What is supposed to do? We want happiness, we want joy. Buddha said no suffering, remember? That's why he took up the journey. How do we do that now? Okay, it's a great idea, I'm sold. What should I do? All you have to do is remove those complexities from mind, and you're being troubled, bombarded. Try being simple, honest, with supreme of knowledge. You may have great learning, great degrees, but what good is that degree? What good is that great amount of money if you're continuously being eaten up by your mind? Have you noticed how the hyenas, the leopards in the zoo, have you noticed? They're walking up and down, up and down, up and down. They're so restless. Even my mind is also like that. So what do we have to do then? You have to bring a few things in your mind. The first is called awareness of what is right, what is wrong. And hold on to what is right. What if I don't? Most of the people are not. So they are going to continue to suffer. Hey, this world is going to continue if I am alive or I am dead. Isn't it? Same thing is with all of us. So something else, somebody else will come. No one of us are irreplaceable. Knowing that, have which is called Viveka. From Vivekananda, Viveka. Viveka is because of which Vivekananda became Vivekananda. It's not from Vivekananda, it's Viveka. Viveka is discrimination from wrong to the right and holding on to the right. I shall not jump the traffic light. I will not. I cannot do that. I have to. I am answerable. I have to live in this society, this organization, this family. I'm answerable to my mother and father and my husband and my wife and my children. So, if the children are growing up in my family, who are going to be otherwise like me, if I elevate myself, then they will also get elevated. And if I become aware of another way, another concept, you will create masterpieces like you all are doing it in this school. Great kids are coming out. Even the simplest of the simplet kiddo, just being few months, 6 months, a year. I'm hearing it from the parent. Changed so much. Couldn't believe it. I have to go back to Muscat or Dubai or America. But sir, I am going to come back. So, this connecting with the consciousness, first is discrimination. Second is detachment, Vairag. Be there in the family, play the role of the wife and the husband and the children and the parent. But know, just like that film, you're acting. But acting doesn't mean fraudulently, sincere. With love, with affection, genuinely, every part of the thing that you're doing it with absolute heart and sticking to that social clause. I cannot tell lies, I cannot do wrong thing. I shall stick to, come whatever may. So what is Vivekananda saying? You only die once. So what are we scared about? Worst comes is what we'll do, we'll die, isn't it? It's okay. But your body may die, but you will become eternal. This is called immortal. You notice the great masters are immortal. Jesus is immortal. Buddha is immortal. Vivekananda is immortal. People like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Narendra Modi, they will also become immortal. Because of their great actions, doing things that they're doing. Aiming amongst the immortality, you may not get up every day morning and say Namaste Steve Jobs. But you will do to that Mahavir Jain, Guru Nanak Ji, Why? Because they're not a body, they're not a figure. They're that consciousness. Which is where? Everywhere. So, we say, what is the definition of God? The other day, some people came down from UK. They're robotics. Some of you interacted with them, with the PhD in robotics from UK. And he was talking to me. He was quite intrigued by what we are doing here. So I asked him, okay, he said, what is it? What is it? I said, can I start with a simple question? He said, but I'm asking you the question. I said, yeah, to understand it better, you need to ask a question. I need to ask a question to you. I asked him, who are you? He said, me. And he gave his name and form and things so that I'm so-and-so. I'm the father of 2 kids. I said, is that it? Think for a second. And then we started talking. So the first question is, this is what? The truth, the power, the willingness, the center is within you and me. It's not out there. Success is not in a great company. It is within us. How do you achieve it? With purity. Purity, being responsible to everyone around you. Everyone. And not pettiness, sliminess, screaming, shouting, pulling down everybody else. Okay, go ahead and do that. Only what you're doing is you're making your life miserable. Those poor people around you, they might keep quiet. They might be very good at not cursing you also. But you are cursing yourself. You're just making your life more miserable. And it will happen. It may not happen just now. It's going to happen maybe the next moment. Maybe after 15 years. But it will happen. So create viveka, vairag, detachment. Detachment is, you know, from the nature, the lotus in the pond, notice the water cannot soil it. So once somebody came to Ramana Maharshi, one Australian guy, and he stayed with him for 7 days, and he said, sir, I don't want to go back. I'm so peaceful, I'm so happy here. So Ramana Maharshi told him, have you seen the lotus stems in the pond? Below the water, the small fish and the tadpoles, they're going around the stem. But they don't know what's the lotus flower. But from thousands of miles or hundreds of miles, honeybees come all the way, sit on the flower, take the nectar, sip the nectar and go away. So you do that. Don't be a tadpole, just trying to be around me. So you and I should need to spread this powerful. Hold on to purity. It's not easy. Patience. Persevere. The moment you do all this, what Sharda was talking about, you automatically will have a smile in your face. Why? You feel good. And not with a frown and looking around everybody and what is this and what is that. And sit down quietly. I believe, I'm glad Sharda ma'am came to know about it. A child wanted, a few days back, some more finger chips. He was very hungry. So he went and asked, and the girl maid who was in charge there, he said, she gave him a little bit. He said, I want some more. And he put his hand inside. And this lady put that lid on top of his hand and started pressing. And the boy said, it's hurting. You are hurting me. She said, yes, good. Take your hand off. This is, you think that lady is going to, Sharda has removed her, I believe, correct? She's already removed her. They're not allowed. You know what? You will automatically get lost from those good things around you the moment you take on to the hostile negativity. So hold on to that, those beautiful things, which is where? Within us only. Make them increase. Smile will come. Your heart will feel good and it will come out from those little muscles. Frown takes, I had read somewhere long time ago, some 120 odd muscles. So much of work. Smile is simple. And see, the moment you smile, everybody else also smiles back at you. Yeah? Have you noticed in love, if something is very common with hate, what is it? Reputation. Have you noticed in love, 14th of February is coming up? You keep saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And you keep saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. When you have to say so many times, that means what? You don't believe in yourself. That's why you're saying it, no? Supposing you took little pickle or that chutney and you didn't understand what the taste like, you will take again some little more, isn't it? Same thing is with hate. I hate you. And the best part is, if you look carefully, you know who do you hate? You hate the people who you used to love most. Yeah? Who's your worst enemy? Generally, the husband is the worst enemy, or the wife is the worst enemy. You are the one who spoiled my whole life. It is you. It is you who spoiled your whole life. So don't throw it on to other people. Questions? Come on, think about bad question, think about good question. Give a mic, please. Who would like to ask? Any doubts related to this topic or otherwise?
Good morning, sir. Sticking to your ethics is important or changing yourself around your environment?
Repeat the question, please.
Sticking to your ethics is important or changing yourself towards your surrounding, means according to your surrounding.
Okay, good question. So what is the question? Sticking to the ethics is important or changing ourselves is important? Is that a question? Is that a question? Okay. So now, good question. Sticking to the ethics. Where is this ethics coming from? You see, society made this ethic. Society said don't tell lies. Remember Santameva Jayate? Where did it come from? You say it's written in Mandakya Upanishad because we are discussing. Okay, but how did it come? Where did it come from? Hey, this ethics, why I said good question. Purity, the truth, the smile, the joy, the happiness, the giving, big-heartedness, loyalty. I'm loyal to my family, to my friends, to my husband, wife, children, organization, to the world. I'm faithful. I will die, but I will not. Where did it come from? The ethics, they are you. Only thing you and I have forgotten about it. And we think I have to work hard, I have to practice hard to keep them up. No. All you and I have to become is us. And how do you do that is the question. The question is holding on to those simple practices. Holding on to the purity. Because the mind is going to say, it's alright. Somebody was talking to me, I hope you don't mind, why don't you do it like this? It's little bit of only bending the rule. I just smiled and I said, thank you. I didn't say I'm not going to do it. I didn't say, how can I do it? I didn't say, okay, I'll think about it. I just said, thank you. Sir, I hope you don't mind what I suggested. He himself realized it. I don't wish to think about it. So all of us are filled with this, but our journey is that purification to what? Not to become river Ganga or some seven seas water or something like that, or reach mountain, Everest cave. No, it is just become who we truly are. And that is ethics. Does it answer your question? Does it? And it's not complicated. It is not. See, who is dearest to you? Who always is with you? Wherever you go, even in your sleep, who is that with you? You're the one who experienced, no? Even the deep sleep, even the samadhi, you experienced it, correct? Who is that with you? It is you. You are never lost from you. And the moment the ocean and the wave, each one of the wave, like you and I, which is you, me, we realize we are not different. We are that one consciousness, and all of us become one. Somebody now starts to jump and become a big wave, and he said, no, I don't want to be one. I want to be by myself. Okay, the only thing is it's causing suffering. May not realize it? They will. Everybody, this is the beautiful part, will realize. Even Bin Laden will realize. Ibrahim bin Daud will also realize. Everybody will. Eventually, that's the journey of the humanity. There is one, though, a beautiful message from Upanishads, that if you continue to live wrongly with wrong things, in the theory of Vedanta, life's birth and rebirth, most religions talk about afterlife, there is something. So here in the Vedanta they say, you may not be born as a human being next birth, you may be born as something else. Question? Don't hesitate. You know, when you ask a question, you're actually clearing your own mind, your own doubts, and which you don't want others to know. Others are not different. Others are you only, It's the same consciousness. You may have a different body, different name and a form, but we are all one.
So the day is mixed with many situations, many people. So the mind goes with a roller coaster of emotions. Sometimes we want to be good, no doubt about it. At times, in a particular moment, in a hasty way, some things we spoke which we can't take back. So maybe after some time, I shouldn't have said that. We feel that guilt in our heart. But after 2 days, maybe we might use it, like cribbing, whatever it may be. So how can we get rid of that self-guilt?
So your question is that basically we all like to be good, want to be good, and we want to, why we want to be good and like to be good? Because we want no suffering. And the basis of all religion is because of to remove suffering. And it is there where it is within us is no suffering. So we like to be, because nature is such. If I pour water, it has to go down. That's the nature. If I light a fire, it has to go. If a seed is planted and water, sunshine, air, soil is there, not rock, it will grow into a tree or a plant. The same way. Now what happens is, these are called that tendency because of the past work that we have done. Like supposing today somebody is being evil, that will become a vritti, like a bubble. And that bubble will slowly merge into the mind and it will stay there in the mind. It will come up sometime. When it comes up, you do that. If it is a negative vritti, you will do one negative action. If it is a good vritti, somebody comes and does like this, and your husband says, don't give, I've just given him $10. You say, it's okay, she's come again, let us give it. It's a good vritti saying, it's alright. So there is a gentle guideline for all of us. Anyone comes to you like this, please do like that. Give it. What anything. It doesn't mean money or rice or sugar or some gift. It could be your time. It could be a present. It could be your company. Now when that vritti has gone out and made you do something, first is realization. The realization is already come to you. You're already feeling bad. You're saying, oh, I wish I had not said that. So how do you correct it now so that the next time you don't? You bottled up the taxi driver, auto rickshaws collar and said, how dare you charge me 200, it's only 100 rupees. But your child is watching you. Next time he's going to catch a auto rickshaw because that's how I'm supposed to be dealing with the world. So what do you do now here? You've done something which you know is not correct, realization, and then seek forgiveness. The moment you seek forgiveness, you will find immense amount of peace will come into your mind. You know what, dear hubby, husband, I had done that, I had said that, I took that money that day, it is not correct. Would you please forgive me? Automatically you will find a new vritti will form with that. So the next time when a similar situation or another situation comes in, this good vritti will come up and say, don't do that. So you start to lead a better life. So what is it? Notice this people who renounce everything called detachment. They sacrifice it. Monks, let's say. They give up everything. So somebody went and asked a monk, it's in US. This monk is in US, he is an Indian. And somebody asked him, why did you renounce this world? Why did you give up everything? So he said, I haven't given up everything. I want everything. Today what you're doing is little bit money, little bit of something. But you notice how much of those bad things you have. But when I give up everything apparently to you, I get everything. Have you noticed that I have no shortage of money? Have you noticed that I always am smiling? Have you noticed wherever I go, there are at least 100,000 people are coming down to take care of me? And everybody loves me. So, the moment you take that action, you've already started erasing the earlier vrittis. So, our process of this meditation, breathing, which is yogic way, Patanjali Yoga Sutra way. This is not Vedanta way, by the way. It was knowledge for me, so it should be knowledge for you too. I thought that is Vedanta. No. It is like, let's say, I want to study and the TV is on and it is disturbing me. So yogic way, they will say, switch off the TV, pull out the plug. That's a yogic way, shut it off. In the Vedantic way, just become aware, just know. Knowing itself is good enough. What will happen? You will suddenly see, you can meditate even in Shivaji market. Even in the toughest of the situation, you can bring the peace. And everybody will come running to you. What do you say? We have this problem. Does that answer your question? Any question? You have a good day. Thank you very much.